Lately I've been thinking about breakups and how during the beginning phases of any relationship, we go into it with the assumption that once we fall in love and once we meet someone who we really want to be with, that this relationship is going to be the one that lasts for a lifetime. And we build up these fantasies in our mind. We invest all of ourselves in this relationship and we sort of accept or embrace this reality that what we have now could last forever. And yet, when you zoom out of your life story, if you've lived long enough, you tend to realize that most of the relationships that you have in your life will end. And to some people, that can cause a great deal of suffering, whereas to others, it can be a source of liberation. To me, breakups have been one of the hardest things that I've had to deal with. Other than losing people and especially loved ones to accidents or to natural causes, breakups have been quite up there. And if you're someone who has struggled to let go of people that you've loved, if you've struggled with being overly sentimental or being overly nostalgic, then I think this video could help, because it's a pity that when we are young in our schooling system, we aren't taught valuable lessons on how to deal with the loss of a loved one, to deal with breakups, to deal with bankruptcy, so on and so forth. These are things that we are just thrown into the deep end and are meant to just, or are expected to just learn as we experience. But that's not always the best way of learning. I feel it's imperative that we have some sort of foundation on how we can navigate these difficult scenarios. I wish I had that. Perhaps I wouldn't have made the amount of mistakes that I've made in the last decade or two of my life. So in saying that, I feel like there's something I would want to share with you that is apart from the typical practical solutions you'll find online. I know if you search how to deal with a breakup or how to move on after a breakup, you'll find the typical practical and useful advice on, like, using no contact, distancing yourself from your ex, spending time with close people and family and friends, talking about it, going for therapy, journaling, giving yourself time to process the emotions, and dating new people. These things are effective. But when it comes to processing a loss emotionally, there's no external factor that can truly create a big enough intrinsic effect. In other words, the feelings that are within you need to be dealt with within. And the one thing that I've learned is that the best and most effective way to deal with a breakup or to let go of someone that you love is to let go. What does letting go mean, though? It's so easy for me to say, hey, let go of someone, but what does that mean? How do you let go of someone intrinsically? Forget about blocking them or removing them from your phone or removing reminders of them from your life. How do you let go of someone that you hold onto internally? And that's where the principle of letting go from David R. Hawkins' book comes into fruition. Letting go means to accept your feelings for what they are without trying to suppress it, express it, or escape it. In other words, to surrender to your feelings and continue to live even with those feelings. Most of us, myself included, tend to suppress, express, and escape. If I look at myself, I would talk about it non-stop to as many people as I could. I would journal about it or I would blog about it. And this is a form of expression, but it's still feeding the emotion and the connection. Then there's suppression. People who just push it down and bottle it up. They never ever deal with the emotions that they're experiencing. They jump onto the dating bandwagon or start to rebound. Those feelings that they have will surface, and it will surface in a very destructive way. This is one of the reasons why rebound relationships don't work. It's because you cannot suppress one emotion and replace it with another, expecting for the original emotion to dissipate. It won't. Then there's escape, and escapism is something I'm sure many of us can relate to, whether it be in dating, in sex, in alcohol, in drugs, or whatever it may be. People tend to indulge in these forms of escapism, and they can be destructive. They don't actually help, and they can really, really pull you deeper into a pit of depression and suffering and sadness. The only way forward is to actually allow your feelings to surface, to experience them without actually acting upon them. And I think this can be tied to the principle of Wu Wei, which means effortless action or actionless action. In other words, to do nothing, to allow yourself to let nature work its course. So if you feel something, you allow yourself to feel it while putting in the daily activities or daily steps and actions to live your life and to move on. When you let go of someone and you remove them off your social media or your phone, you aren't going to just be met with a feeling of escape or a feeling of peace. Maybe to some degree, but you may also be met with feelings of fear and anxiety and stress. When someone experiences this, what do they typically do? They unblock the ex, they reach out, they try to get in contact again, start looking at reminders. This is not letting go. This is allowing your emotions to control you. Letting go would be to block your ex, or to stop communicating with them, or to end communication, and allow yourself to experience the anxiety and the fear and the pain that you feel thereafter, accepting that this is how you will feel and that it won't kill you. It's going to be a scary experience. You are going to feel pain. You are going to feel the fear of loss and the pain of loss and the insecurities and the anxieties. You will experience this. But if you allow yourself to experience the effects of a breakup without trying to run from it or suppress it or act on it, that's when it starts to dissipate, because you start to realize that life does go on, that you can handle being separated from someone that you once loved. It's difficult. It's easier said than done. It's something you have to consciously partake in on a daily basis. But this is how you emotionally let go or separate from someone after the end of a relationship. I strongly recommend that you check out the book Letting Go by David R. Hawkins. Alternatively, just do a quick search on YouTube. There's many creators that have made videos on the subject. I'll link a few below. But I promise you that if you indulge in this concept of letting go, the process of accepting a breakup, of healing from it, of letting go of your ex, and of attracting someone else, becomes just a little less painful. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it to be some source of comfort in your pain right now. Trust me, things do get better. You are so much more resilient and resourceful than you think you are. Just because you've lost a relationship doesn't mean that you won't find something that's more and better suited for you. It doesn't mean that you're always going to be alone. It doesn't mean that you are always going to experience this feeling of loss, of pain, of rejection, of insecurity. A time will come when you will be able to be free from these feelings and open to receive love from someone else. But that can only happen if you let go of your feelings. And to let go simply means to allow them to pass through you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have a question that you would like for me to answer in a future video, please head over to the comment section below and let me know. And I'll leave you with just this. If you are going through hell, keep going.